This town is so not, in my opinion, appropriately laid out. For an example, I would put a hotel in the middle of the performing arts area. I'd put a hotel somewhere near where the Conservatory of Music is,
Right.
the Jazz Center is, the Opera House, the Symphony Hall.
Right.
There's no hotel over there.
Boy, that would have been a great idea.
But it still is
Yeah.
possible. I would have a first-class hotel, which is where the performers,
The opera
the
star.
way it is in New York, the way it was in,
Yeah.
it is in
Yeah.
New York.
Wow, that would
You-
give a big.
You've got to have a place. They should not have to travel all the way up to the Fairmount. They ought to be able to walk to rehearsal
Right.
and walk back. So you need in the Civic Center area a first-class performers hotel. And when people come to this town, they would think that if they want to see the performers
Right.
and they want to walk to the theater,
Yeah.
and there are enough restaurants over there now.
Right, and there
They're
would be more if that hotel was
overnight.
Yeah.
That is correct. You know, in the city undergoing all these changes, what we've lost though, Wilkes, is the football team.
Yeah.
We lost the
Wow.
49ers football team, and we lost that to Santa Clara.
Right.
Now, on the other hand, when you talk about South of Market, one of the other reasons the South of Market is so incredible is because of Mission Bay, the hospital that's down there, the research institute that's down there. But in the meantime, when we gained the opportunity for the Warriors to play in San Francisco and in Mission Bay, suddenly we lose the 49ers. Suddenly, what was Candlestick, what was the original baseball stadium, we put a new baseball stadium. But it turns out that it is a great addition. It's almost like the stadium has always been there. The Giants baseball stadium looks like it's an old component of South of Market and a part of what we're about in the entranceway to what we consider to be Mission Bay. But that's where the ballpark was. That's where Willie Mays performed. And to now have that gone and to have no football team in this town is a true loss.
So many of the things that came in fruition that are so prized in the city started during your administration.
In this town, the late George Moscone said to me when he had been serving for mayor for 2 or 3 years, which is the only reason I was interested in being mayor, he said it's like having your own playground. If you're the mayor in this city, you really can do things and you really can enjoy doing things and people appreciate it. You don't have to
If you have the vision.
Yeah. You don't have to conceal who you are, what you're about. You know, you can hang in the restaurants.
Yeah.
You can do the things that need to be done. And that's the only thing that enticed me. You know, Wilkes, it's really interesting that at one time your store was the cornerstone and the linchpin for many of these designers. I think back.
In the 70s.
Yeah, in the 70s, you think back, no one had ever heard of Messina. No one had ever really heard of Ralph Lauren. No one had ever heard of Brioni. No one had ever heard of Keaton. No one, as a matter of fact, well, no one had ever heard of Versace.
Not to be immodest, but even Giorgio Armani, when we first brought him in 1973, wasn't a household name yet.
No, none of those people.
Right.
Your store was the window. And by the way, it was the San Francisco window.
Jim Georgides and I went to Italy.
The late Jim George.
The late Georgides, who was incredible. And we went to Italy and we met these people, we worked with them, and we brought them to San Francisco. And they were so excited to be part of the scene in San Francisco, and it'll never happen again. But back in the 70s, you could do that. Today, with the proliferation of stores and designers and so forth, you can't do it. But we had a run of probably 8 to 10 years of exclusivity with many of these designers.
And then no question. Before they start thinking about expanding beyond your store.
Right.
Your store was where you'd have to go if you wanted Giorgio Armani. Your store would have to go if you wanted Keaton.
Right, it was headquarters.
It was headquartered. As a matter of fact, nobody else had Keaton in this city.
Correct.
Nobody else had Keaton
Correct.
in this city.
Yeah.
And Neiman's nor Saks had even thought of doing men's stuff. If you remember, both Saks and Neiman's were women wear. They didn't do men's wear. And nobody did serious menswear except the specialty store in other towns, Sidney Koshak and people like that did it. But in San Francisco, it was strictly Wilkes, Bashford.
You know, Willie, I don't know who's picking up this lunch check today, but I hope it's you. So before you...
Why did you touch my cup?
To make sure that...
That's bad luck if you touch my cup.
No, I brought you good luck.
I need another cup.
That cup has been unlucky for a while.
All right, here we go.
Okay, where's the sugar? God knows I don't want to have to pay this check today, so. You ready? Is that a full house?
That is a full house. And I'm going to literally put my sugar down because I won
4 aces.
the first round.
I can't believe it.
No, there'd be no way it's 4 aces. In the next life, 4 aces wins. All right, so that's the first. Okay, what do you got, Wilkes?
3.
Push.
I don't feel good about that.
You shouldn't feel good about it.
I don't feel good about it.
How about the 3 4s?
You don't have 3 4s.
I only got a pair of 4s.
Yeah. Pick them up.
Pick them up.
I want to get in the game.
Maybe next hand, Wilkes.
What do you got?
I got a pair of 5s. What do you got?
Nothing. Pick them up.
Next year I'll pick them up. I got 3 5s and you got to beat them. You got to beat them, otherwise you're stuck with the check. You're stuck with the check, Wilkes. That's not bad.